Welcome to the Fight with Depression podcast, the podcast for people who want to improve their mental health. My name is Christopher Boussard, and once again, I have Molly with me.
Well, hello.
And so, this episode, we're going to kind of, piggyback off of our last one where we spoke about the funk and how we were kind of in a, just a blah mood.
Yeah,
Or
kind of just, kind of down and not really motivated at all.
so the question, I guess, then is why did we talk about that? Why was that kind of, if we're in a funk, why would we not just kind of let it go and just go, oh, whatever, it is what it is, and we're just gonna leave it alone, or pretend to be in a happy mood and all right, we got to put on a podcast episode, so let's be all cheerful.
I mean, I think that the kind of point behind this podcast is to be authentic, and it would do a disservice to all the listeners and to us by not continuing to be as authentic as we can be. Let's just address the elephant in the room. We were in a funk, and so we're going to talk about it. And personally, I believe that us talking about it and addressing it helped us move through it a little bit in a little bit more of a healthy fashion, I guess, if you will. Um, but yeah, I mean, why not talk about it, right?
Well, does talking about it then kind of feed others? Like, if somebody else is in their own funk and going, okay, well then I guess it's okay to be this, you know, in a bad mood, or are we feeding them, misery loves company? So are they like, okay, well, I'm just going to wallow with them in self-pity?
Yeah, misery does love company, and sometimes it is nice to have someone else reiterate that, like, oh, you're having a bad day, I'm having a bad day too, or whatever it is. And who knows, maybe, people needed to kind of hear that they are not the only ones in a funk, if you will. But I think it becomes a problem if you just sit in it for too long and you don't deal with it. That's why talking about it is good, in my opinion. And hopefully, it helps other people to understand, hey, you can talk about your bad mood or your funk or your grumpy day or whatever it is, but there's a big difference between talking about it and getting it out, kind of like purging it, and talking about it to just continually complain and sit in the grumpiness or misery or whatever it is.
Well, and yeah, because I think especially when we have other people that, we talk to, and they're like, like, okay, well, yeah, I'm in a bad mood, or say, yeah, I understand why you're in a bad mood. It makes sense to me. And, yeah, that your life kind of sucks right now. And we can use that to validate our, our thinking and validate the funk that we're in, but it's not really good. It's good to be there with the person and, like I said, climb into I guess I didn't say, like Brene Brown said, climb into the pit with them. But it's important not to stay in the pit with them, because if we sit there and go, oh man, yeah, it's dark down here, it's cold, it's damp, it sucks, and then we just sit in there with them, then nothing ever gets resolved. I think the point is to address that, to go, look, I'm stuck in this hole, to have somebody who's going to climb into the hole with you, but not just stay in the hole, but to bring you out of the hole.
Yeah, you can help each other get out of the hole, if you will.
Yeah, because I think, we validate ourselves and we kind of make excuses, and we go, oh no, sorry, I can't, I don't feel like going out this weekend, and because I'm in this funk. And if we keep talking about it, then that can just lead us to go make, like I said, make excuses. So then what do we do? How do we how do we change from not just making excuses, but going, okay, yes, this is real. I am in a bad mood. You talk to somebody and then get out of the hole with them.
Yeah, I don't know.
Was that a difficult question or?
A little bit. I mean, I think just recognizing where you are is a huge part of it. And if you can look at yourself and go, okay, pay attention to what you're saying, pay attention to what you're thinking about, paying attention to where you're putting your efforts throughout the day. And if it's not going to something good or something productive or something positive, maybe you need to reevaluate what's going on and listen to the people around you. I mean, how many times have you been in a bad mood, or I've been in a bad mood, and maybe we don't necessarily realize it until the other one of us kind of addresses it, and it's like, oh, okay, looking back and saying, yeah, I need to stop this behavior now.
Well, and I think, like you said, it's important for us to be honest, but not continue to be negative, because when you're honest about something and you can climb into that hole with somebody, or have somebody climb into that hole with you, and that's when you can get out of the hole together. And that's part of the being honest thing, because if you're sitting here and you're going, nope, I'm fine, I'm yeah, I'm down here, but I wanted to be down here, I'm good, so just keep on passing by, then it's nobody's going to climb into the hole with you, so to speak.
Well, and then when you talk about being honest with things, um, it's really, there's a fine line, and I've definitely had to learn this. And I wouldn't say that I've learned it. I'm aware, but sometimes you can border on that line of just complaining and whining. And it's one thing to come home after a difficult day and be honest with my husband and tell him what is frustrating me, or what I'm dealing with, or whatever it is. But it's a whole nother thing to just unload on him, and then he starts complaining with me, and then we just complain back and forth to each other. And at that point, it's gone from being honest about our feelings and what we're going through to we're just sitting there whining and complaining, and that doesn't make anything better.
So we've been talking about this, being honest and real and everything, and that's why we're not editing these audio or these podcasts. But I just want to let everybody know that we did have to take a little break. I don't know if you guys heard. Please don't go back if you didn't. Our dog's nails were clucking around on the floor. He's been walking around, so we had to make him lay down. So
they were clucking?
Clicking. I thought I said clicking.
I thought you said clucking,
I don't know.
Like a chicken.
I don't know. We don't have those right now. But yeah, I mean, it's important to be honest, but not just sit there and be constantly negative and, whining and complaining and everything. So you get in the hole with the person, but you help bring them out. And like my buddy always says, he says, what you think about, you bring about. And as much as it drives me nuts sometimes, because I'm like, well, I can't think that I'm going to win the lottery and then, I bring about winning the lottery. But it really does. I mean, it does make a lot of sense, because if I'm going to just sit here and think about how miserable everything is, oh, woe is me. I didn't get a good grade on that assignment, or my boss yelled at me, or whatever. You can sit there and be negative, but what happens is you continue to perpetuate that problem. So now you're going back to your boss, or you're going back to school, and you have this mindset like, oh, poor me, everybody's out to get me, the world's out to get me. And the more you think that the world's out to get you, that's your view, that's your outcome on the world, and you continue to bring that negativity instead of going, okay, well, yeah, it sucks, and I'm gonna be honest about how miserable I am. I don't feel like I deserved a bad grade, or you know what, getting that bad grade really made me feel like crap. But I'm gonna, you know what, I'm gonna learn from this, and I'm gonna proceed. I'm gonna move forward, and keep on keeping on.
Well, and I think true. One thing that is, just to kind of chime into what Christopher was saying about why we don't edit these anymore. I don't know. I think we stopped. You stopped doing that once I joined in because it's much easier just to have a natural conversation with somebody, and that's kind of what we feel like when we're doing these. We don't do a lot of we don't draw an outline or anything too much. We have some notes and everything that we go off of so we know what we're going to talk about, but that's the whole thing. We want it to be organic and unscripted and honest with you guys and with each other. And when you start talking about getting in that hole and not being able to get out, or going to someone else who's in the hole, it's a lot easier sometimes to be negative and to have just negative self-talk than it is to be positive. And so it really takes an effort
Well,
to work at that, and to learn how to stop that bad behavior.
well, absolutely. I mean, negativity feeds negativity, and
Yeah.
we enjoy, as people, we enjoy that drama, so to speak. So
Yeah.
we go to somebody and we're like, oh man, this is awful, and oh yeah, and we keep it. It's almost like it's fun for us as people to talk about the bad things, whether it's work or school or life or whatever. If our daughter comes home from volleyball and says that she didn't play a good game, and it's easy to sit there and focus on that, like, oh man, well, this, maybe somebody else messed up your play, or whatever it is, and you can make excuses, and then when you make excuses you start being more negative. um let's say you're play basketball and you're making a free throw. Well, what does everybody do, especially college? Behind, you're playing at the opposing team's court, and you're shooting a free throw, and everybody's waving their what do they call them, their little foam fingers around and yelling and everything. And you can sit there and blame them for messing you up, and then you can start focusing on how you hate that school. That school's miserable because they're not sportsmanlike, and you can do that as a team, and then you start focusing on that and complaining about that, and then everybody talks about how crappy that school is because of that one person.
Well, yeah, it makes you feel better if you can point out somebody else's faults and their things. I mean, everybody, you feel better about yourself in that moment. But then after that, you feel terrible because you shouldn't need to point out other people's faults or blame shift to feel good about yourself. And when you start doing that with other people, it just, I mean, we're all guilty of it for sure, but it takes, you just have to be more conscious on what you're saying and when you're saying it. And yeah, you missed the free throw. Okay, you can be upset about it. You can be bummed. Maybe, whatever happened, but you move on and you go, okay, I messed up. Next time I'm going to do better. Or I'm going to try, I don't play basketball, so I don't really know what to say here. But yeah, it's, I don't know.
Well, but you learn from it.
Yes.
You persevere. Okay, something bad happened. What came of it? And what does Brian Buffini always say? Like, I did it before, I'll do it again.
Yeah.
So, if you guys haven't listened to it, listen to it. It's a Good Life podcast. Because that he does say that like quite a bit. I think he said he coined that phrase. Like, I did it before, I'll do it again. So you learn from it. You learn from past mistakes. You continue to move on. You go, okay, well, that sucked. My time right now sucks, but I'm gonna keep moving on.
Well, and I think it's important to, and I probably already said this, but it is important to be honest with yourself or with others. But it's that fine line of when you stop being honest about your feeling or about your frustration or whatever it is, and you go into just a complaining mode. That's when the danger happens.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, so I'm gonna share a story. I wasn't planning on doing this. I was talking to our oldest daughter about this the other day, and I'm not going to go into details about what brought it up, but we get in a situation sometimes, and I think everybody has that time in their life where they're going, how am I going to get out of this? I don't see a way past my current situation. I don't see how this is going to work out. So I'm going to go ahead and put myself out there, because everybody who knows me knows this story. But about 15 years ago, probably a little bit longer than that, I was driving the fire engine.
It was longer than 15 years ago because we've been married for 16 years.
It was before we got married.
It was before.
So it was a while ago. And we had a brand new fire chief. I don't know, brand new. He was new. Anyway,
he was new to your department.
He was new to our department. Yes, he had been in the fire service for a long time. Anyway, I was driving the fire engine. We went on a call, and driving to the call, I turned a little close, and I scraped the side of the fire engine along the back bumper of a police car. I keep saying that police car shouldn't have been parked where he was, but anyway.
That's blame shifting.
That was blame shifting. It was a very bad day for me. I'll say that. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, I'm never going to get out of this. Like, how is this situation going to end? Like, it's going to keep getting worse. My life is going to get worse. Because I was volunteering at that time. I was a volunteer firefighter and trying to get hired on. I'm never going to get hired on. I'm going to get kicked off this department. My life is going to be over. Like all this stuff. And I kept building it up. And at that moment, I didn't see the silver lining. I didn't see the rainbow, the end of the rainbow, whatever you want to say. I didn't see the end of this. And in the moment, when we're in those moments, yeah, we don't see how it's going to work out. But you go, okay, well, I have been through some crap before in my life, or I know somebody who has. I know somebody who's been through a rough time, and that's when it's important to be honest with that person. And that's why I'm honest. Like, so we have people bump fire engines into stuff all the time, and you're making a sharp turn or something, and you clip a curb and scrape the wheel or the tire or something, and somebody's like, oh, you scraped the tire or whatever. And I would say, you know what? I hit a police car. I have no room to talk. So people, but going, oh, that's right. This guy hit a police car with a fire engine. Scraping a curb really isn't that bad. To me, being honest with somebody else, it is beneficial for them, not just myself, in getting out of getting out of that my own situation, but it's beneficial for them to go, you know what? I remember him talking about that. And now I know if I'm going through a crappy time, hey, I sideswiped a rock, a boulder coming into a neighborhood or something. Hey, I know somebody who hit a police car. How did you get through? You know what I mean? So it's beneficial to be honest for both yourself and others.
Well, I think it's also important to kind of, and I don't want to jump to an assumption here, but I'd like to reiterate what you said, that you were in a point where you were going, "Oh my goodness, this is the end of my days as a firefighter. I'm done. I'm in so much trouble." I think it's important to address what your chief said to you.
Yeah. So, he was kind of a stickler,
By the book.
by the book, and everybody, he knows that,
Yeah.
he admits it. And um like I said, he was new, and I didn't know what to think much of him. But so he pulled up, of course. He pulls up on scene because they're investigating it and all this stuff. And he pulls up, and I walked up to him, and it was super uncomfortable for me. And I said, hey, Chief, I'm sorry. I messed up. I was too busy watching one side. I didn't watch the other. I'm sorry. And he's like, you know what? These things happen. Nobody got hurt. You learn from you live with it, and you learn from it, and you move on. And it was very comforting, I guess, to me, to just have that conversation. Like, I messed up. And by saying I messed up, it was so much easier than me making excuses and being like, well, he shouldn't have been parked there and this and that. Like, I was honest with myself. I was honest with him. I goofed up. So,
Yeah. And he really could have taken it another way and changed the way that you came home that night. He could have said, you could have been in big trouble. But the fact that he said, you were honest, you told him what happened, and he understood, hey, you make a mistake. It's like when your kids make a mistake, you don't get after them for messing up. You use that as a learning experience to help them do better the next time. And when at least I believe that when you instill that in your family unit, hey, if you mess up, just talk to me about it, or you get a bad grade, or you do whatever. Don't try to cover it up or hide it or lie about it or whatever. And I mean, we come to our children and they tell us things, and we try to help them through it instead of getting after them and having them get in trouble. Because when they come to us for something and they say, hey, I messed up doing this, if our reaction is poor, then they're not going to continue that pattern of coming to us and being honest with us on things. And I mean, that's a whole nother podcast episode, I think, right there.
Yeah.
But it's the whole piggybacking on your just, say what you need to say.
Well,
get it out.
Yeah. I mean, I say, try and say that, just be honest. They say honesty is the best policy, because when you are honest, it just, it really does make things a lot easier. And honesty about how you feel, or how you're feeling, honesty about how life is going, just overall, just, being honest, and the truth will set you free, right? So, I mean, it's not, it's biblical. So,
Yeah. So it's
can't
good.
go wrong there. Anyway, so, I think we're kind of at our time. I feel like time goes by a lot quicker when we're recording these.
Oh, it definitely
especially
does.
when I started out doing these, it was like, man, I'm only at 4 minutes, but I think, I don't know, maybe I like having you on the,
well, I like that you have me on here because I don't know, it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
For sure.
So anyway, if there's, is there anything that you want to?
No, I think that, like I said, we could just keep going down off these little fractures into all these other little stories and topics, but we should probably save it for another time. I do, but I guess when we're talking about being honest, we're just saying, like, I don't know. I don't know what I was gonna say.
Maybe is that a teaser for next time? Like, keep following us. Maybe that.
Yeah,
Hey, there you go.
maybe you'll find out.
So, if you're not already following the podcast, please do so. So that way, when we continue these conversations that we decide that we're gonna, oh yeah, we need to talk about that, then you'll know, and you'll have you won't have to keep searching for us because it'll come up on your list of things to do, right? On your playlist.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever it is that you guys listen to us, or you can go to thefightwithdepression.com. We do put up the podcasts on there, so you can go to the podcast page and follow. You can listen to the podcasts on there, or link to other podcast episodes. You can follow, get the last like 10 episodes or something like that on there.
I'm actually kind of curious. I would love to hear feedback if people enjoy the unscripted, unedited bits, or if we're doing a disservice just because we like it. It would be really interesting. So if you have a thought or a feeling on this, just let us know. You can reach Christopher through the website, through his email there.
Go to the contact page.
Yeah, go to the contact page,
or
and let us know.
If you are on Spotify, they do have you have to access it from your mobile app, but you can access the polls and the questions that we put out. We do put those out. I'm really the one putting
it's you.
It is. Yeah. So Molly helps with the questions. Is this a dumb question and stuff like that. Anyway, so if you have the Spotify mobile app, you can go ahead and answer those questions. If not, then go to thefightwithdepression.com and go to the contact page and just let us know about anything. And I do have the trailer fixed up now. You guys should hopefully see some stuff coming out with that. So people are going to be real confused what I mean by that. Like, what does he mean by he's got the trailer? So stay tuned. Go to thefightwithdepression.com. Anything else?
No, I think that's it. We just love feedback and would love to hear what you guys want us to talk about.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Any future episode topics, let us know. So yeah, just be honest, and once again, the truth shall set you free. So and until next time, God bless.